Hey guys, this is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw.
Hey, Friendo, Steve here.
And Lars.
And welcome back to Going In Raw, the only pro wrestling podcast you can be listening to right here at youtube.com/Steve and Larson. Available wherever podcasts can be found. And, of course, taped live at the Twitch at twitch.tv/Steve and Larson, where we just spent almost an hour talking to people during our pre-show. We gave away a couple of items, so by all means, if you're interested in hanging out with us, watching this review live, hit us up over at the twitch.tv/Steve and Larson. Give us a follow over there. We're live.
Yes, please.
All pretty much every day, as far as I know. Thursdays, Fridays we're live. We do the
Friday
Friendo Club
night
TV.
SmackDown.
Friday night SmackDown. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Thursday's
UK review.
Oh yeah, that's right.
UK
so yes, every day.
recap or watch along rather. We do that. So we do all sorts of stuff there on the Twitch. We also have Friendo Club TV, where if you throw us a sub on the Twitch, or if you hit us up on the Patreon, patreon.com/Steve and Larson, $5 a month, you get some bonus content every single week. So we're there. Man, this is weird. It's Tuesday.
It is.
This is like 2018 again, man.
It really
is. Tuesday and we're reviewing Raw. I guess we used to do that, like even like pre-pandemic and 2020.
Even early 2020.
Yeah.
We do this.
You feel better about doing it this way?
Yeah.
You had to think about that one? Wow.
No, I didn't have to think about it.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of a good answer other than yes. But yes, it's
Right.
direct.
Yeah, qualified.
It's forthright. It's honest.
Some more context there.
I was trying to think of something clever, but no, it's this isn't a situation where being clever is necessary. Yes, it's better.
Yes, 100%.
But like as we were talking at our pre-show, I didn't know what to do with myself. Like I had dinner with my family, which I haven't done on a Monday in a long time. Having dinner with my family, and then afterwards, I didn't know what to do.
Yeah,
I'm so used to doing a certain thing, and then I don't do it anymore. It's going to take a while to get out of that habit.
Now that I know that I'm probably going to, because what I did last night was I started watching Raw. Like I watched a little bit live while I was doing some stuff on my computer, but like I actually like watched it to do my notes and stuff at like 10 o'clock at night and wrapped before midnight. And it was awesome. It was great. I felt like $1,000,000. Raw still sucked. And we're going to talk a lot about that today, obviously. But like, no regrets about that. No regret. And I'm kind of sad that we didn't do it earlier because there were weeks when I'd watch Raw and I'd have a headache. And then at 8 o'clock Pacific, we're going live.
Good show.
Now they get miserable Steve and Larson on a Monday night. Now I've had my coffee. I've had my my breakfast.
Feel good, huh?
I'm feeling good. I'm ready to go.
That's good. And
especially because we have something pretty meaty to talk about. The Shayna Baszler. Everybody's talking about this. Shayna Baszler running scared from a doll named Lilly. And we had one of those segments that just, it gets people wondering, was this the worst segment in Raw history? You're shaking your head no. I kind of agree with that. I think that it's not the worst segment in history, but it's the worst segment that we've seen in a little while.
It was bad. Just because it's not the worst in Raw history doesn't mean it wasn't bad. I had heard that before I started watching. I had heard that it happened. I didn't know the specifics, but I heard something really bad happened at the end of Raw.
Mm-hmm.
And so my expectations were very low.
Mm-hmm.
And it was bad, but it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
Or was worried it was going to be. And so the expectations probably played some role in it. I think other segments like Bayley, This Is Your Life, Lashley's Sisters, I think why those, in my estimation, are worse than this is a couple of reasons. One, those felt like they lasted forever.
Yeah.
I don't know if in terms of actual minutes, they were longer, shorter. Those felt like an eternity to sit through.
They did.
As bad as this thing was at the close of Raw last night, it didn't feel that way. At least it kept moving. That's kind of the primary thing. Also, both those segments were in front of crowds.
That's a big deal.
Dumped all over it live as it was happening. That wasn't the case. In fact, this segment probably benefited greatly from having audio piped in lieu of a live crowd.
This is I mentioned this in the pre-show, and I don't really think this is true, but it also wouldn't shock me the first Alexa's Playground in front of a live audience is also going to be the last, because they would, from day one, they would have crapped all over this. This stuff is not, it's not tailored for a live audience. If they do it live, if they do it in front of the, if they start doing Alexa's Playground backstage and maybe they pipe in some audio or something, they're able to control the environment. In an uncontrolled environment, this would be dead. This entire Alexa's Playground thing would be dead. This segment last night would have just done terribly in front of a live crowd. Now, I don't think that this is the worst one, but this would be further up the list if this was in front of a live crowd, because this was really bad. And I think it's really bad, and it's amplified because how much we all like Shayna Baszler, and we understand that her fullest potential so far has been in NXT, has been realized in NXT, and we all want to see her take the jump to the bigger stage and see her fullest potential be realized there as well. And then we get this, and it's just like it's the stupidest thing. I actually asked our crowd on Twitter, the friendos on Twitter, you can follow us at Real Going In Raw, to drop some other ones, and we can sort of compare and contrast a little bit. Luke from Wrestle Talk, our good friendos over there, Luke mentioned that one where Cedric Alexander was like dressed up in the janitor's outfit with a mask. Him and Roman Reigns acting like they had just won a match when they in fact lost to Shane and Drew, and they were like yucking it up at the end, saying, "Yeah, we got him," even though they had just lost a match. That was a good one. Louis bringing this up from just like post-Mania, I think. Mandy Rose and Dana Brooke voluntarily getting counted out of a match with Nia Jax, Shayna Baszler, and commentary making it out as if it was good as beating the champions. Yeah.
That was bad.
We've got, obviously, we've got some classics. You already mentioned, I think, Bailey, This Is Your Life.
Yes.
That was so bad and so long. In front of a crowd, just died immediately. Lashley's sisters.
Bad.
Those two, for me, were probably up there in terms of the worst, because they just died so bad. I mean, there are some infamously bad ones. Of course, there's the Katie Vick segment, which made me laugh only in that Triple H thought it was so funny. When somebody thinks their own joke is funny and it's so bad, that to me kind of makes me chuckle. We had MJA here on Twitter brings up, I don't know specifically, but they had Enzo close out Raw for like a month straight. I think it was longer than that. Yeah. Which was pretty funny. He was
Cruiserweight champ, yeah.
There's, of course, the old day skit. I mean, the thing about Enzo is that they actually had they had the quarter hours that showed that the guy could talk his way into a high rating, which was true. Like, Enzo, say what you will, he was a good talker.
Yeah. And in one of those segments, we got Sad Neville after he lost the Cruiserweight title.
Yeah, right. Yeah, totally. Let's see here. Oh, wow. The Jostler here brings up, I barely even remember this because I wasn't really watching around Mania 23. Rosie O'Donnell and Donald Trump.
Oh, yeah. I don't remember that.
I barely remember that. Panda Police Club here brings up Lashley and Lana's wedding. That was a bad one. That was really bad. Let's see here. Orlando actually says, I don't care what anyone says. The worst segment last night was Elias versus Ryker.
I mean, that was bad.
It was pretty bad. So let's see here. Josh Walker brings up, see, this is the kind of stuff that like live, if I was watching, I'd be like, yeah, this is terrible. But fake Razor and fake Diesel's return, that's pretty bad. I think, I'll be honest with you, for my money, so who brings this up? Joel Pearl brings up Dean Ambrose's doctor. He gets his vaccinations or whatever. For me, for my money, the worst segment in the history of Raw, and I kind of don't think it's close, is Vince McMahon interviewing Brian Pillman's widow.
Oh, gosh, that's so awkward.
That is what do you plan on doing for money now that you lost your husband? That to me is like so far and away the worst thing that's ever happened on Raw, in the WWE, in wrestling.
That is so bad.
But in terms of scripted segments, like any of these can probably take the cake.
I mean, the most miserable experience I've had watching Raw live was probably Bailey, This Is Your Life.
It's so embarrassing. Like, you feel it's the thing is it's like watching like like if The Office, like the British version of The Office, which is some of the best cringe comedy ever. Like, you feel so embarrassed for these people, but it's like live and it's real. Like, you actually
and it's
feel
not, and that's not the intention either.
Right? Yeah. Exactly. It's so bad. It's live and it's real.
Yep.
So for me, it's like either Lashley. It's probably Bailey, This Is Your Life. That might actually be the worst intentionally scripted, segment in Raw for my money. Anyways,
it was so bad.
So anyways, I mean, otherwise, I thought that there were some your typical crap moments in like Raw, like the women's tag match. The Rhea Charlotte stuff is so bad right now.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Like the second hour, I thought was the strongest of the three. I thought there was some pretty solid stuff in that second hour.
Yeah.
From the contract signing up until the women's tag match, I thought, we had that Ricochet Carillo match, which was a ton of fun.
That was great.
I thought Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander was a really solid bout.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah.
That bit between Kofi and MVP backstage was great.
Was one of the best moments on Raw this year.
Yeah.
Was outstanding. And dude, there are two things that actually stand out to me in terms of I'll give it the benefit. It's hard to give it the benefit of the doubt, but I'm willing to see where they're going to take it. There's two things that stood out last night. Number one was Kofi and MVP, because number one, Kofi's totally going to be in the main event spot going forward, probably for the next program. I just am not sure. It might signal to me that Lashley's going to retain at Hell in a Cell and that they're going to do Kofi Lashley as an extended program, which I'm all on board with. I love that.
Definitely.
The other thing that I really liked last night, I'm intrigued by, is Ali and Mansoor. Mm-hmm. I haven't seen a ton of Mansoor stuff, but I've really liked what I've seen so far, and I really like that they're having Ali try to mentor him, because I love them as sort of a pair and then a feud. Mm-hmm. That's something I'm really intrigued by. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm totally on board with those two things. But Kofi, that stuff made me really excited about what they could possibly do with that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah,
because we'd heard also in the past that MVP has been creatively involved in some of the Lashley stuff and the Hurt Business stuff. And if you have him running that story as the A story, similar to how Heyman is running the A story, allegedly, apparently, with the Roman stuff, that's going to make for a good A story.
Yeah.
Because that was a really, really good promo. And then, I agree that the Ricochet Carillo stuff was good.
Was a really fun match. A lot of the stuff in the first hour kind of felt like filler, like all the talking before the tag team battle royal.
Yeah.
By and large, completely unnecessary. Not to say it wasn't entertaining to a certain extent. Biz kind of uncontrollably rolling down the ramp in slow-mo during Morrison's entrance was funny. There's a couple good bits with Kofi, with Riddle.
The match
talking
was fun.
to AJ.
The match was fun. The talking
was fine.
Yeah, the talking was like.
But the talking was by and large completely unnecessary.
Yeah.
You mentioned this too. I think in the pre-show, the way they're writing Rhea Ripley is doing her absolutely no favors.
She is cold.
Continually.
Cold.
Week after week.
Cold. I don't. She is literally just like, it's as if she's been substituted by like a person who looks like her, but it doesn't talk anything. There's nothing natural that comes out of her mouth. And I'm sorry, you could be the best performer in the world. Nobody can say this dialogue. I mean, why are they saddling her with this dialogue? Like,
I don't know.
I'll follow you, Charlotte, to hell in 2 weeks. I'll follow you, Charlotte, in 2 weeks to hell. Yeah. Oh, it was so awkward.
It's bad.
Yeah, they needed. She needs to go to SmackDown.
Something. And then this Elias Ryker breakup that didn't never make a ton of sense to begin with. Like, Riker's a face now. Probably a bad move there on WWE's part. And then he got a haircut. And he shaved his beard.
Yeah.
And like he comes out to attack Elias. I'm like, who is this guy? Oh, it's Ryker.
A fan came through Thunderdome.
Because it's like, not only does he have
Who
less
is
hair,
this guy?
some reason he doesn't look as huge.
He doesn't
without
look
the
as
hair.
intimidating without the hair. It's weird.
Like he looked like he dropped like a bunch of hair and about 15 pounds. Like, who is this? Oh, that's Ryker. Oh, all right.
Hey, speaking about a guy who's going to get crapped on when the live crowds come back. Might depend on where you are in the country. But I kind of feel like Riker's going to be dead on arrival. I feel like he's going to be cold in front of those fans. I really do. I don't know, man.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they're thinking with that one. They, the thing is, they could have told a cool story. They could have told a cool story there. Like Ryker, the kind of crazed fan of Elias, and he starts getting a little too crazy,
That's not what they did.
No, they didn't do that at all. They didn't.
Despite what Elias might be trying to say, that's not what happened at all.
I know. It's really silly, like the thinnest of motivations, and then NWO Ryker comes out and attacks Elias. Yeah, that was pretty funny.
It was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
Who's this guy?
That was my first reaction because it's like his beard,
Yeah.
like it's like he put some dye in it or something.
Fear and Loathing says Ryker attacked Nick Gage over the weekend. Yeah, he looked like Cardona.
He
Looked
did.
like NWO Zack Ryder. Zack Ryker.
He did.
Oh,
did.
man.
So typical Raw. Some good, some bad. A lot of boring, a lot of mediocre.
Yeah, but just thank God we didn't have to watch it all in one shot.
I know. Watch 2 hours. It's great to be able to fast forward through commercials.
Oh, it's awesome.
Through recaps.
It's great.
It's great.
Yeah, it's
great.
It's really handy. All right, before we continue, here's a word from the sponsor of today's show, Gabby. Larson, there are dozens, probably hundreds of companies out there claiming they'll compare home and auto insurance rates. But I'm here to tell you that there's only one that actually does it. Gabby is the one true comparison platform with fast, verifiable quotes.
With Gabby, you can use your current coverage to find better coverage, comparing policies with 40 of the top insurance providers, including Progressive, Nationwide, and Travelers. Plus, it's totally free, and Gabby will only show you policies that are the same or better than your current coverage, many of them at a lower price.
Gabby can help you find the right policy. It's fast and super easy to use. You log in with your current insurance provider and you get a bunch of insurance quotes that could save you money. Gabby customers save $961 per year on average.
Put your policy to the test like we did. Get better insurance with Gabby. It's totally free to check and there's no obligation. Go to Gabby.com/raw.
That's GABI.com/raw. Gabby.com/raw. So yeah, we'll just go ahead and kick this thing off. If you guys want to get the Steve notes for this, they are available at patreon.com/Steven Larson. Available for everybody. Don't have to subscribe to our Patreon to get that. But while you're there, go ahead and check out some of our reward tiers. You might find something you like.
Yep.
It kicked off with all the tag teams minus one guy without a partner in the ring, ready for the battle royal.
Yeah. They had Lindsay in this tag team battle royal, despite the fact that his tag team partner is injured.
I thought that was pretty comical. So before this thing starts off, AJ Styles and Amos come out. He drops a promo. Amos legitimately looks like he's having a lot of fun and all this stuff.
Yeah, I felt bad for AJ because it was like, here's a mic, like kill 10 minutes. That's totally what it felt like.
It always should just be, AJ, we need to fill 10 minutes. Go have a match. Because he can have a 4-star match if you give him like 10 minutes. But
like,
no,
I don't think AJ is a bad talker.
No, I think he's fine. I think for anybody, 10 minutes is difficult.
Yeah.
Like there's like 5 guys on the roster in the entirety of WWE that I'd want to hear talk for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I don't know if any of them are on Raw. So anyways, they come out. He talks for like 10 minutes. He sort of calls out all the teams in the ring. He starts out with New Day. Then he talks about T-Bar and Mace. Doesn't really run them down too much. He's like, Lindsay doesn't even have your partner because Grand Metalik is injured. And then he talks about the Viking. He actually talks up the Viking Raiders. Says, hey, we can make a lot of money, traveling around the world now. The fans are coming back. Then he targets RK Bro. Then him and Amos sort of talk up themselves. And it's taken way too long. New Day call him Booty. Kofi brings up once again, and I do like, it is charming that he brings up constantly them not being a registered tag team. That's what he's focused on. He's like, come on, show me your papers. Show me your papers. And AJ says, hey, listen, I'm just trying to be nice. And Orton says, if you want to be nice, shut the hell up.
Mm-hmm.
Riddle starts talking way too much. He talks about the zip in his mouth thing. He talks about his merch and his uncle. Some of it was funny stuff, but it's just buried in rambling.
Yeah.
And then Orton does the thing that, of course, they're just running deep into the ground, this zipping of the mouth thing. Miz and Morrison interrupt. Miz says the tag division has become dry. We get the drip stick there to moisten things up. Johnny Drip has decided to participate in the Battle Royal on behalf of him and the Miz.
Mm-hmm.
So his music hits because he's going to go down, and he sort of wheeled Miz to a certain point on the ramp, and then he decides to do his thing, and right as the slow-mo kicks in, the Miz starts rolling down and loses control.
That was pretty funny.
It was really well executed. It was pretty damn funny. It
was pretty funny.
Give him credit for that, yeah.
And then by the time they cut to the ring and they cut back, and by that time Morrison's caught up with the Miz and kept him from falling all the way down the ramp. So the match begins. Before the match begins, RK Bro dropped both members of the New Day and Lindsay with RKOs. We get a quick shot of Lashley partying it up backstage. We come back, begins. I'll run through these eliminations real quick. So Morrison eliminates Lindsay Dorado after spraying him with the drip stick. He gets the Miz tosses the drip stick in the ring so he could spray T-Bar and Mace. They no-sell it. They eliminate Morrison. Then everybody left teams up to eliminate Mace T-Bar. The Viking Raiders hit Riddle with a great German suplex clothesline combo. And then he is eliminated, Riddle is, by Xavier Woods. Mm-hmm. And then Eric eliminates Woods. And then this bit was great. Rowe is about to slam Hansen onto Orton. And then Kofi hits a double stop off the top rope to take out the Raiders. So he's setting up, Kofi is, for Trouble in Paradise on Orton. Riddle runs back in the ring, take it for Orton. Randy tosses out Kofi, and then the Viking Raiders eliminate Orton to get the win. They'll be facing AJ and Amos for the tag titles, I would assume, at Hell in a Cell.
Ooh, breaking news. We've got a new $10 patron, Wolfpack Prince. Thank you very much, Wolfpack.
Thank you so much.
Appreciate that. I thought it was good stuff, and I like that the Viking Raiders are back in the mix. Mm-hmm. I don't know if I like their odds in terms of getting the tag titles, but hopefully they have
no odds. They're not going to win.
I know, but maybe they'll give them a story. I mean, the tag division is. I know they had like 6 people out there or 6 teams out there last night, but it's not like really all that well established.
No.
Maybe they'll have a story with them. Couple pay-per-views.
Nice. Yeah. If anybody's beating AJ and Amos for those titles, it's going to be Randy and Riddle.
They never really wrestle all that much. Yeah, you're probably right. It's probably going to be RK, bro.
Or they're going to lose and break up, one of the two. So after that, Adam Pearce, Sonya Deville are talking backstage. Charlotte interrupts. She was talking about how she was pressured into her match last week against Nikki Cross, and she wants the results stricken from the record. Pearce is like, well, you accept the challenge. Sonya's like, yep, you lost. Nothing we can do about that. And Charlotte says, you're both jealous of me. If you're not going to give me what I want, at least give me a rematch. They seem cool with that. Rhea steps in, though, and she says, even though I lost to Nikki, I respect her. I lost track of time, so I deserve a rematch against Nikki. And then Pearce and Sonya suggest that Rhea and Charlotte team up against Nikki and a partner of Nikki Cross's choosing.
Yeah. Somebody like Sonya needs to step in and start like saying, hey, we need to stop doing that. Stop with the coexisting thing. It's not working. It's not compelling television. Anyways.
No, it's not.
What do you
think?
We know
darn well they can't coexist already.
They can't. Yeah. This was actually hilarious just how poorly they were able to coexist. What do you think this announcement is? So Ted DiBiase, they did a promo for NXT. DiBiase's got an announcement.
I think it's going to be something to do with $1 million title.
Oh, I hope so. That'd be great.
Maybe LA Knight and Cameron Grimes will have a match for it.
Whoa. Yeah, man. Who wins that match, by the way?
Oh, it's got to be Grimes.
You think it's got to be Grimes?
I think so.
Man,
I don't know if I haven't watched NXT yet.
LA
don't ask me for my prediction, but I haven't seen the go home episode yet.
Informal prediction, man.
There'll be a winner. There'll be a winner and a new $1 million champion. How about that? That's my prediction.
That's your prediction. Okay.
My prediction. Write it down.
New $1 million.
All the confidence points. There'll be a new $1 million champion.
You win.
So we're backstage. Viking Raiders are celebrating their win. Hansen says, I want to feast on some turkey legs. AJ and Amos walk in. Amos is eating a turkey leg. AJ is like, hey, your wannabe Vikings, Ray Rose, says something along the lines like, we live to honor the Vikings that came before him or something like that. And if AJ has a problem with that, then he's got a problem with AJ.
Yeah. After that, we had a little recap for Alexa's playground, sort of a fairy tale story of her and how she became who she is. After that, Elias was in the ring. He calls out Jackson Ryker. He says, if you had just done what I had said, we'd be sitting here as tag team champions. He said, I looked in your eyes and I saw a man. This was kind of tacky, to be honest with you. He says, I saw a man who's been through war, who'd go to battle, but he wouldn't go to battle with me. He reiterates that WWE stands for Walk with Elias.
I think he says for him, not just with him, but for him.
Oh, for him. Yeah, okay, you're right. And then Ryker attacks him from behind. He's got a new haircut. It's weird too, because it's not like a pure buzz cut. There's like a couple of random strands that are just sort of like falling down.
Well, it's longer on top than it is on the sides and the back.
Yeah,
but his hair up top, I'm not being critical because I'm
sure. I got
the same issue here.
Up here. I got it too. It's
thinning.
Yeah, right.
His hair appears thinning.
You get a certain age, not everybody can be Trent Seven. Okay.
Yes.
It's thinning. I'm not talking crap about that.
Same.
But the question becomes, what do you do with it? As you have done, clean, right? Maybe that would have worked more because it's just sort of like a couple of strands sort of hanging down and dangling.
Yeah. I mean, it's like, maybe like, I don't know, 2 inches long. It wasn't that long.
Yeah.
But then,
he looked like he got it from he was doing that in the barber's chair, and then he noticed Elias was out there. He's like, oh, I got to go. Wait, we're not done. Okay, no, I got to go.
Well, it's good enough.
It's good enough. Fine. Put some stuff in my beard too.
Yeah. So then they have a match, and Ryker hits a spine buster on Elias. Elias rolls out of the ring and just walks out.
Mm-hmm.
Gets counted out. Pre-show match, Hell in a Cell.
Probably. I could
Probably.
See that. Yeah. After that, we had a Kofi versus Drew package. Was anything between? I don't have your notes up. Next up was a contract signing, right?
Yeah.
Man, because I thought for a second that I'd fast forwarded too much because it was like 10 minutes between the Elias Ryker, the end of that, like legitimately 10 minutes because there was like an elongated recap package. There was like commercials, recap package, commercials, and it's one of those long commercial breaks. So it was like 10 minutes before and I'm like thinking, man, 10 minutes of my life that I just got to save.
Yeah.
Drew versus Lashley contract signing. I thought this was pretty decent. I thought it was okay. Yeah, I mean, it was a dude put a sword through a table. So how cool is that?
Yeah, I didn't see that happening. Didn't see that happening at all. Yeah. So Drew's out first. Lashley's music hits. No Lashley though. And Drew just says, well, we're not going to wait for Bobby. He says Bobby's just going to complain about Drew getting another title shot after title shot after title shot. Maybe he has a point. And then Drew tells the story of Robert the Bruce. Yeah. About kind of living in exile, living in a cave somewhere, and seeing a spider not be able to build a web in the wet cave, but rather than get up, the spider would just keep trying again until he finally was able to fashion himself a web. And I guess Robert the Bruce was inspired by that to go and continue to try to free Scotland. And so Drew was thinking about that, was inspired by it. I guess, at first you don't succeed, try again. I guess that's where the saying comes from, according to Drew. He says, well, let's just make this official. He's about to sign the contract. MVP shows up with the Tron and says, hold on, there's still business to be discussed before we sign anything. They walk down to the ring. MVP congratulates Drew on manipulating his way into another title shot. MVP tells Pierce and DeVille they upheld their end of the bargain last week by not interfering. Now we want to be rewarded. And Lashley has a demand, and that is, if Drew loses, he can no longer challenge for the WWE title as long as Lashley is champion. And Drew was like, accepted. Just immediately, I accept it. But Drew wants the match inside Hell in a Cell, which Lashley is cool with.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He accepts. So Drew signs the contract, passes it to Lashley. Lashley tells Drew that after he loses, Drew is going to have to tuck his kilt in shame and walk away. He says, that's how this story ends. He brings up the Robert the Bruce story, and he signs the deal. Drew has some last words. He mentions, I have been in Hell in a Cell. You haven't, Lashley. I was told I wouldn't be the same afterwards, and I haven't been. He says, I flew off the side of the cell, still feel it today, and he's willing to feel it again. He says he will tear flesh from skin. He says, I don't know what you believe in, Bobby Lashley, but you better start praying. And when you're looking for mercy, I'll grant it to you in the form of Claymore. And then Drew, like Lashley says something to him. And then Drew, out of nowhere, gets his giant sword and cuts the table in half with it.
Well, it's great because Lashley thinks he has the last word, like you said. He gets up and he turns around. He's about to leave with, the Lashley train. And MVP, hits Lashley on the shoulders, like, look. And then the camera pans over. And Drew has this giant sword out. And you hear one of the Lashley girls say, ah! And he just puts that thing to the table. It was really kind of shocking and I'll be honest, very unexpected, pretty awesome. Didn't know where he kept that damn sword in the first place. That was weird.
Yeah, no idea.
I guess he comes out with it when he does his entrance, but
he does the thing on the stage, so the fire comes up.
Well, I don't think he got like a job entrance for the contract signing, didn't he? Or did he had a proper one? Okay.
Yeah, he did the full entrance.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was kind of crazy.
That was crazy.
I liked it. I thought it was really good. I thought Lashley was really good. And I thought Drew was really good. So yeah, if, I like that they, at the very least, it's addressing the story, up until now, which is Drew keeps on getting all these opportunities. And so finally it's like, okay, well, if he loses at Hell in a Cell, and I honestly don't know where I land on this, I kind of feel like MVP approaching Kofi, either they're going to do something hugely drastic with Kofi and have him leave Woods and join up with like MVP. That seems less likely than we're going to get Kofi versus Lashley, which you would think would be for the title, but I guess it could be away from the title as well if they just wanted to do a straight up feud between the two of them.
I mean, it could. It kind of feels like it would be more weighty, obviously. With
the title is the story with Kofi, which was great stuff. We'll get to that in a bit. First up, though, we've got a Nikki Cross interview where it's brought up, hey, you beat Rhea and Charlotte in your beat the clock challenges, and she's like, yeah, this is kind of not a good interview. She's like, this is something that's been. This is one of those interviews. It's like, why are they going this route with her character? She says, I might not be. What did she say? I didn't even write it down. She says, I might not be. It says, it doesn't matter if you're the prettiest or the strongest. You don't have to be the prettiest or strongest to succeed. It's her tenacity that makes her a winner. Why bring up you don't have to be the prettiest? Like, what does that have to do with anything? It's just, that's weird. It's my tenacity that makes me a winner. The only thing I'm going to regret is not taking chances, so my only choice is to try. I don't know. Look, maybe this was written by a female writer. I kind of feel like it was written by a 65-year-old guy. You know what I mean? It just sometimes the dialogue sounds like, okay, why would anybody write this? Like this doesn't seem like something that it's like
people would actually say.
Yeah, right. I don't know. Maybe it's just. After that, Sheamus came out to watch.
Well, she introduced her tag partner.
Sorry, it's Asuka
for the night.
Yeah,
it was Asuka.
Yeah. And they did the Nobody's Ready for Asuka thing. After that, Sheamus comes out to watch the Ricochet Carillo match. His face is an absolute mess. He's got the face mask thing on, the face brace.
Yeah, he's got the Richard Hamilton face mask.
Right. Yeah. And then before the match, he starts ranting about, why do these guys get U.S. title shots? He's really coming off as quite pathetic. It's pretty great. Sheamus is doing really good work these days.
The best part, I'll jump to the end here without spoiling the finish. The best part is after the match ends when he's sitting on the ringside and laughing and has to stop himself because it makes his face hurt.
Yeah,
that was actually pretty good.
That was good. He starts ranting about them getting U.S. title shots and how they're both terrible. He sort of gets punked out by Carillo near the apron area. He ends up doing.
Well, it's great. They were faking like they're going to do like aerial moves on him. That was pretty good.
Yeah, I like that stuff. And then we had Ricochet versus Carillo. This is, great stuff. I'm glad that they're getting roped into the U.S. title scene. That's really cool. This isn't just some, main spot on the show main event. And then I even like the finish. They do a Spanish fly from the apron to the floor. Yeah, that's going to put two guys out for 10 seconds. They're not going to be able to meet the count. So they got doubly counted out. Well, that was fine. That was great. Let's get more of these guys.
I know. Yeah, and then Sheamus is talking trash to him while they're both laying on the floor. Neither in my league, and he starts laughing. He's holding his face. Oh, can't laugh. It hurts, but then he laughs some more anyways. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
After that, we had Xavier Woods and Kofi. They're chatting backstage. They're about to enter their locker room. MVP steps up. He wants to talk to Kofi. MVP tells Kofi that he was impressed with his match last week as well as tonight, but not surprised that he came up short. MVP says, I may represent Lashley, but prior to that, I was a Kofi fan. I watched Kofi Mania take over the world. He talks about how he's so proud of Kofi's win that he cried. Says they go way back to Deep South Wrestling, I believe. He says Kofi's like a little brother to him, and watching Kofi celebrate with his family still gives him goosebumps. He says that's the moment that I realized that I had to come back to WWE because they had a champion that he could relate to and that he could be proud of.
He could immediately relate to. Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah. He said Kofi Mania was everything, then it ended. Do you ever ask yourself about why that happened? It's because you're not like Bobby Lashley. He says last week he thought he caught a glimpse of Kofi Mania, but then at the end of the match with Drew, he shook his hand and it made Kofi look like he was comfortable being a loser. He said Kofi Mania ended because you let it end. Says there's no friends in this industry. It's called show business. Kofi tells him to shut his mouth, that he's the last person he wants advice from. Says his friends and family provide him with motivation. Somewhere in this world, there's a kid watching Raw, and they're watching Kofi, and they're believing in themselves because of me. And that's why he does this. And he's like, what does Lashley fight for? Money? And MVP says, no, he fights for the WWE Championship and for the honor, the prestige, and the accoutrements that come with it.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
Yeah, this was really, really terrific stuff. Like MVP was it felt like it was contrary what I just was talking about, the Nikki Cross thing. This was totally written by MVP. Like this is MVP doing his own thing here.
This feels like they just went like, all right, what are we going to talk about? Let's do this. All right.
Yeah.
Because I felt natural. It didn't feel like there was a script.
Right.
You know?
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. This just felt like it was him. And this is how it should all be. It should all be like this, you know?
I know. Because it feels genuine. It feels real.
Yeah.
Oh, we got a raid from Fightful Gaming. Thank you so much.
What's up, Fightful Gaming? Thank you so much. After that, we had an Eva Marie video. And at the end, it was revealed that she's going to be here next week.
Yeah.
So that's pretty quick. We had previously heard that it could be as early as 2 weeks, but now we got to deal with it next week. So that should be fun. She'll be on our thumbnail next week. Which usually does pretty good for us. After that, backstage, Ali approached Mansoor, and he said, are you ready for this? You got Drew Gulak tonight. And Mansoor was like, yeah. He's like, no, you're not. You're not ready. He's like, what you're ready for is a fair and square down the middle match with Drew Gulak. But what are you going to do when you realize that you're in the ring with a guy who will cut every corner? You can't assume everybody's going to play by the same rules you're playing by. That's not how this world works. And then a couple matches later, we got that match. I like this. I think this is good stuff. Mansoor he's got camera charisma. He's got a quiet confidence, and you can do so much over time with that. And he's a good talker. He's like comfortable. He's really comfortable. It's really good. I'm curious to know where they're going to take this. Hopefully they'll let it play out,
Same. So next we had Jeff Hardy versus Cedric Alexander. They both had picture-in-picture promos. Hardy's complaining about veterans in the locker room getting no respect. Talks about Cedric having an inflated ego. He's going to give him a lesson in humility, and he's going to learn that respect is earned. Cedric has a promo. He says, out with the old, in with the new. Raw is in need of a breath of fresh air. He says, what you saw last week from him was only a taste. Tonight, he wipes the floor with a former great.
It's funny because they are building pieces for the future with some of this stuff. Like Cedric, I'm glad that we didn't get Cedric versus Shelton again.
That's going to happen, though.
It probably is going to happen.
Because throughout this match, they're talking about Shelton Alexander. Or Shelton Benjamin, sorry.
Well, Cedric needs to come out on the winning end of that and then move on to other stuff. But and then, of course, he ate to a breath of fresh air, the new guy trying to get rid of the has-beens. And what happens in this match? The has-been gets him with the swanton. Yeah, exactly.
Humbles.
Yeah.
Because Cedric, hubris, mocking Jeff Hardy when he thinks he has the upper hand, jumps right into a twist of fate, and then Hardy hits the swanton. Yeah.
It'd be great if they started booking as Cedric as sort of a new day, sort of a new version of a legend killer. But he has to start killing legends first. He can't be eating losses left and right.
No.
He's got to turn a corner.
He can't. Yes, he has to. We get a quick shot of Rhea. She's warming up backstage. Charlotte backs into her. Says, since I'm the most professional, follow my lead. Rhea, since you want to take on Nikki so much, you handle her. I'll take care of Asuka.
The only place I'll follow you to in 2 weeks is hell.
And then she says, "My championship makes up for your experience, so follow my lead," and walks out.
I don't know who annoys me more. I think Rhea annoys me more. Like the way she's presented, I'm like, I don't want to see this, but like, God, Charlotte, can you get rid of this person? Just get that title back. According to WWE Social, it's going to be Charlotte anyways. And did you see the tweet that they said they had? It was up like 50. I don't know if it's still up now. Probably is. But somebody just mistweeted. It was like a picture of this segment. And it says, can Charlotte and current WWE Raw Women's Champion Charlotte coexist together?
Oh. Typo, huh?
Just a typo. But like everybody was talking shit about it. WWE Social just let it. Just kept it up.
Sure. Like whatever.
Yeah, whatever. We can't
like everybody's focusing on the Shayna and Lilly thing. What does it matter?
They're like, this tweet has all sorts of engagement. We need to keep it up. Well, yeah, because it's a typo. No, it's engagement. So then we had Rhea and Charlotte versus Nikki and Asuka. I mean, there was some funny bits like when Rhea was patting Charlotte all violently on the head.
That was pretty funny.
That was pretty funny. But Rhea and Charlotte can't get along. At one point, like they're on the outside, and Charlotte just decks Rhea. And
that
Rhea
made no sense.
And Rhea just like lays there on the floor and stares, gives this mean look.
Well, it was like Rhea was trying to get in the ring.
Yeah.
And then Charlotte pulls her to the floor, forearms her. And so Rhea's laid out, and then Charlotte yells at her, "Get in the ring."
She was trying to do that. And on top of that, like Rhea's just, it's not like she, like, yeah, she decked her. But like, why wouldn't Rhea just spring back up and deck her back? Like it didn't look like she was laid out. You know what I mean?
Yeah. She got knocked off her feet. Yeah.
Yeah. But man, come back. Like they're just these characters that just don't operate in any sense of logical. I don't know. It's weird. Anyways.
I don't know. Anyways,
so they continue to fight. They continue to just bicker. Eventually.
And then fight at the end, yeah.
They actually fought at the end. So Charlotte countered a riptide attempt with a natural selection, and Nikki gets, and then just sort of watches Nikki as Nikki gets in and pins her.
Covers Rhea for the win, yeah.
And covers her for the win, yeah. Not good stuff.
And then Nikki and Asuka were celebrating atop of the announce table, and that was pretty fun.
Yeah. I just, look, if this is going to lead to Nikki Cross getting like a proper feud with whoever is going to be champion, because Charlotte's probably going to win the championship. They really should put the title back on Charlotte. Like Rhea is cold. At least Charlotte knows what she's doing out there.
Well, here's the thing about this. I mean, sadly, Nikki is getting all these wins in these matches, but she's not looking good doing it.
No, she looks terrible.
Strong.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
You know, she's won 2 beat the clock challenges and then covered Rhea here after Charlotte hits Rhea with her own finish.
Yeah.
So
well, yeah, that was going to be my point. Is like, it's one thing. Okay, well, that's good, I guess, that you're getting a bunch of wins, but
they're not strong wins.
They're terrible wins. Yeah, like they're now, like if she faces any of these people, it's like, okay, well, now it's not even believable for me to think that you can win this. Barring another fluke. So we got another Alexa's Playground tease. Alexa says Shayna's wrong about Lilly, but see what happens later on tonight. And then we had Drew Gulak versus Mansoor. Drew tried to use the handful of tights for the cheating win. Mansoor is able to counter that with a roll-up of his own for a win. So, you know, he's learning the lay of the land as Ali has been foretelling him.
Something like that,
Something like that. After that, we had Orton and Riddle backstage. Is there a Burger King integration that I didn't?
Not that I'm aware of. I feel like maybe Matt Riddle really likes Whoppers.
If there was a Burger King near me that hadn't gone out of business, maybe I'd try them again. I don't know. I used to like Burger King, but all of them went out of business.
Yeah.
Anyway, so they do the key thing again. Riddle has a match tonight with Kofi because he wanted to invite Kofi to Burger King. At that point, I started sifting through your notes to see if I had missed this segment because I was like, "What? This is just unwritten." And then asked Orton if he's coming to the ring with him tonight. He says, "I don't know," and then he makes him do the key thing and he throws it in the garbage can.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
there you go.
And that match happens next: Kofi versus Riddle.
This is a fun match early on.
Say
Orton versus Riddle. That's not probably for a couple months. There you go.
That's not going to be till I don't know, Royal Rumble or something. So early on, Matt Riddle has the advantage, and then Xavier Woods playing the trombone that distracts Riddle. Kofi hits a jawbreaker, gets a 2 count. Orton makes his way out ringside. Kofi has the advantage for a bit longer. Eventually hits a trust fall. on both Orton and Riddle from the top rope. Back in the ring, hits a stomp. He goes up top. Riddle decks him, looking for a superplex. Kofi counters, dumps Riddle on his face. Frog splash, gets 2. After that, Riddle sends Kofi to the floor, hits him with a running forearm. He just starts like getting super violent here. A bunch of strikes against the announce table. Hits Kofi with the knee when he gets back in the ring, draping DDT, and Orton's all about it. He's telling Riddle to finish him. So Riddle's setting up for the RKO. He's doing the slam of the fist
too much
on the mat. He looks for the RKO. Kofi blocks. He goes for Trouble in Paradise. Riddle blocks that. Then Riddle goes for a Bro Derek. Kofi escapes that. Then he hits Trouble in Paradise to get the win.
Yeah, you could just see as soon as he starts doing the gets down and Randy's like, no, don't, just stop doing that, man. Just do your thing. I really liked Orton in this though. You know, he seems really engaged. Backstage, Nia comes up to Shayna, says, I know things have been tense between us. And Shayna says, yeah, because Alexa keeps on getting in our business and you let Reginald get in our business. Now we're not tag champions anymore. And Nia says, well, Reginald's at home recovering. They bicker a little bit. Nia says, well, I've come to offer my help. This is the most dangerous I've ever seen Alexa. We go back a long ways. Shayna says, it's a stupid doll, but Alexa might need your help because I'm going to show her what happens when you cross the Queen of Spades. Then we had the infamous Alexa's, the instant classic Alexa's playground segment. So Alexa comes to the ring. She pushes over the rocking horse in defiance.
Shayna comes.
Who did I say? Alexa?
You said Alexa.
Shayna.
Yeah.
Shayna pushes over the rocking horse in defiance. And Alexa has Lilly with her, says, we'd like to give you a chance to be our new friend. New friend. All you have to do is apologize to Lilly.
Yeah.
Shayna scoffs. She says, you want me to apologize to a doll? Alexa says, yes. And Shayna says, you're even more delusional than you look. You're the reason behind Reginald's accidents. You're the reason Nia and I are no longer tag champions. And Alexa sort of laughs that off. So Shayna grabs Lilly. That makes Alexa pretty upset. She says, I'm sorry that you're just a stupid doll. That really pisses off Alexa. She attacks Shayna. Shayna sort of throws her out of the ring and then notices that Lily's on the floor. And so Shayna then takes her boot, sort of punts it on Lily's neck, basically. Yeah. And I wish they hadn't produced this so much because then all of a sudden you got a cameraman down there and it's a cool looking shot, but it's jarring because we're not used to this kind of editing and production. It's like, well, we just saw in the previous shot, this isn't a movie. We saw in the previous shot there was no cameraman there.
Yeah.
So then, bang, she stomps on Lilly. The lights start going wonky at Thunderdome. So Shayna starts leaving, and up on the ramp, like a bunch of fire pyro goes off, and then even more goes off.
Yeah.
We're backstage now. She goes backstage, and shit starts falling around her like a big...
Lights are flashing everywhere.
Lights are flashing. A truss falls near her. She tries to escape. None of the doors will open. I have written down in my notes here. So she goes and barricades herself inside of a room, but she's not talking to any of the two cameramen because there are two cameras in there with her, which always bugs me because I'm like, this is a sports type presentation. The cameras are a certain type of camera that look like sports presentation cameras.
Well, here's the thing. When they started shooting it from a cinematic perspective rather than a sports presentation, then we're supposed to forget that there's cameramen in the room.
I know. I just can't let go of that stuff. Like everybody.
No, I know. It doesn't make any sense.
Everybody's got their thing that they just can't get past. And that to me is the thing that I can't get past. Anyways, she's in the room. She barricades herself in and she looks in a mirror and Lilly is in the reflection on a shelf behind her. And then she looks back and she's like, oh, no. She looks back and there's no Lilly. She looks back in the mirror. And then Snake Sosa in our chat had pointed out in our pre-show that the way it's framed and the way Shayna's looking in the mirror, we can see where Lilly is. But Shayna, the way she's looking in the mirror, she should not be able to see the reflection in her field of view, which is, again, hilariously stupid. So then that happens a couple times. She keeps on looking back and seeing that Lily's not actually there.
Yeah.
And then she kicks the mirror, and it's all like broken, and you get some weird wonky cutting of
and then she's screaming and stuff,
Lilly, and she's screaming, and Lilly again, and she's screaming some more, and then it cuts to black, and that's Raw. She's in the wall. She's in the wall. So, yeah, there's your episode of Raw.
Yeah, not a strong finish.
Pretty goofy stuff, but people will be talking about it for a
That's
long
true.
time.
So I guess if they want engagement, they got it.
They got engagement. Speaking of engagement, let's answer some questions.
Let's answer a few questions, yeah.
Question thread up here on the Patreon, and you've got that there in the live chat.
Correct.
Let's see here. We will start with Cam Scott, who says, is there any way of salvaging Shayna's run, or has creative completely ruined her beyond repair? This is one of my favorite questions we get a lot about a lot of people when they're in bad segments. I think that there are a couple people that, like, the ultimate question, the ultimate superstar that question could apply to right now, in my opinion, is Bob Roode.
Mm-hmm.
From where Bob Roode was in NXT, can he be salvaged? And even Bob Roode, I have faith that he probably could be. Shayna definitely can be. I think that we are all wanting to see that, and we'd all hop on board. I mean, I know there are people out there who might not like Shayna, but I think that if given proper creative, she moved over to SmackDown and got into a thing with Bianca Belair.
Yeah,
I'd love to see that, and I think that absolutely get her back to her sort of MMA type roots. 100%, she could be salvaged.
Yeah, totally agreed. What floor do you think the Burger King mentioned was a slight at AEW with their McDonald's segment? No, I wouldn't think that much into it.
I think that one of the stereotypes for stoners is the munchies thing and the food thing, and I think that that's what they're trying to go with Riddle. You know, Burger King, love he probably does actually love Burger King. Dan Barber asks, what would be preferable? Heel Kofi managed by MVP challenging for Drew's WWE Championship, or face Kofi challenging for Lashley's title if Drew fails? I'll be honest with you, I am intrigued by heel Kofi being managed by MVP, man. Intrigued by that. I'd love to see it.
I mean that's something different, so I understand that. But I mean, the more likely outcome is face Kofi versus
1,000% more likely
heel champ Lashley.
But if MVP was like sort of spearheading it, oh man, give me a heel Kofi. The New Day for the longest time, for like 5 years, were able to remain relevant by keeping fresh. I don't see it anymore. I need them to freshen up a little bit, man.
Well, I feel like part of that is the byproduct of breaking them up, and then they take Kofi and Xavier Woods, move them to Raw, where Credo's not that good.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. And that's a huge part of it. But yeah, I think that, and I don't know, maybe you got to split them up and then bring them back down the line 3 years from now, and then they'll be.
I think maybe the thing isn't so much splitting them up as in just let them, as members of this faction, just pursue singles pursuits.
Yeah, I don't think you need like a big. I don't know. I don't know.
I don't think you need a breakup. Like most factions, like for example, New Japan, they're in factions, and the Road 2 shows they tag together, but they don't have segments where they all hang out and do things together like factions do in WWE. There's an understanding they're aligned, but they can all kind of go off and do their own thing. End of the day, they're all buddies.
I want to see Kofi turn on Xavier Woods.
No, I don't want to
turn on him.
I don't want to see that.
Turn on him.
Adrian C., do you think it's possible that this whole Alexa stuff is on the fly booking based off the last minute decision to have Orton beat Bray at Mania? I'm sure Bray had an idea where this was all going to go, but with the loss, the story changes and Alexa is left in limbo.
I think that Bray being so heavily involved in his own stuff and being around and having the stroke to fight for his own stuff and having a crystal clear vision for the Fiend knows what he wants for his character. Yeah. With him being gone, he's not there, so he's not involved. So this is just like a shitty sequel to the Fiend is what it is. I think I made that allegory or that metaphor last week, is that this is just a crappy, like this is them. The Fiend worked on so many levels because of how deep he was taking it. He was, he was the dark element of WWE's history and a reflection of that. And this is just, let's try to be a supernatural character for no reason whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Oh, Kaufman, ready with the party.
What's up, man turn? He's a man, such a man turn.
Turn. You got another question?
Yeah, Jay Singh here says, so last week's Raw was kind of a breaking point for you two. If you didn't review Raw for a living, do you think you would have reached your breaking point earlier, or do you think you would have enjoyed yourself more?
Probably would have reached the breaking point earlier and just do what I used to do back in the day, which is watch Raw, and then just fast forward to the stuff that didn't seem interesting.
Yeah, same. I just would have, at a certain point, I probably would have forgot that Raw was on. And then if I was on social media and somebody brought up something cool that happened, I'll go check that out. So, yeah, that's probably what I would have done.
White Brownie, not Raw related, but should AEW be concerned for Rampage concerning what the ratings for Friday Night Dynamite has been getting?
Probably, yeah.
They probably should be, but, if they get some marketing muscle behind the premiere,
Friday night is a terrible time spot. It's
not the best. No, it's not. It's not.
And then on top of that, you have SmackDown to deal with.
Well, Rampage will be on after SmackDown.
Yeah, I know, but still, that's probably one of the problems is that you're sitting there. I mean, I think Impact had that same philosophy at some point. They were doing Impact running it Friday nights, I think, after SmackDown, the same thing. Mm-hmm. And I'm not, Impact didn't have the marketing muscle of Turner for sure, but it's not ideal.
Oh, wow. Jimmy Thomas says Ricochet versus Humberto, Mansoor versus Gulak, Hardy versus Alexander, and Elias versus Ryker, all cut from the Hulu version of Raw. That's like most of the good stuff.
That's like that's like the good stuff right there. Let's see here. Eddie Brock's Venom with Bobby versus Drew now officially being in Hell in a Cell. What's the next match to be announced in Hell in a Cell? You think Roman Reigns is going to be in Hell in a Cell?
No. I doubt it. I could be wrong.
Didn't need to be, huh?
No. I mean, honestly, the only match that feels like it needed to be was Lashley Drew.
Yeah, what else is in Hell in a Cell?
Bailey and Bianca will be at Hell in a Cell. I don't feel like that needs to be in Hell in a Cell.
Is that going to be in Hell in a Cell?
It's going to be at the show.
Right, but announced it for. They have announced it for that. The ones that they've announced in Hell in a Cell.
It's just Lashley
this one?
versus Drew. Yeah.
Man, tripping. Nick Hook. When was the last time Raw was actually good TV on a weekly basis that lasted for a significant period of time?
There was a period when SmackDown was kind of crap when Shane was the A story that Raw was actually on a week-to-week basis better.
So 2018?
2018, yeah.
2019, something like that?
Something like that.
Yeah, I feel like you're right.
Shane's birthday tweet. Do you think if Kofi is getting in a program with Bobby, it frees up Wood to be in a King of the Ring program, since that's what maybe starting with Corbin and Nakamura on SmackDown?
I would hope so. I really hope so. They have so many people. They could do so many cool things.
I know.
That's sort of the story of WWE these days, though.
Night by night, while eating breakfast this morning, you suddenly lost your top row of teeth all at once.
Ah, that's a nightmare.
Have you had that dream before where all your teeth fall out?
No, but that sounds horrible.
Your dentist can't get a new set of teeth in for you until next week, so for the time being, you'll have to borrow some teeth. What Raw superstar do you ask to lend you their teeth for the week?
Raw superstar?
Yeah, I know.
I think Charlotte has.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah, Charlotte. Hers look great. Whoa, we already talked about that. Gee whiz. Sorry, guys. I'm trying to find a question here.
Sober Chad, do you think the product would suffer if they went back to having wrestling matches dominate the show as opposed to all the scripted segments, backstage stuff? No, I don't think the product would suffer. I think it'd be better because the in-ring talent's never been better. You have 3 hours. There's no reason you can't have at least 2 25-minute matches on your show. I know. And they could be really good. And they could be really good. People could be tuning in. Hey, wow, they've got a 2 out of 3 falls match, Ricochet versus Ali. Instead, you got to go to main event for that. I know. I know. Yeah, I mean, they could have had Carillo, Ricochet go 15 more minutes, and they went. And still have the same finish, and it still would have been cool. Yeah. I mean, the finish would have made even all the more sense if they went an extra 15 minutes.
This is a really optimistic way of looking at it. Wolfpack Prince asks, will Shayna turn back to her badass ways after this feud with Alexa, like how The Fiend changed people after feuding with him? I'd be on board with this if that were the case. I would too. I don't give them the benefit of the doubt that they're going to use Alexa the same way they're going to use The Fiend.
Exactly.
If they do, I'm on board. That's awesome. Mm-hmm. There's a ton of people they can put through that particular situation and turn them back to being really cool. Mm-hmm. But I think that this is like, and dude, this is, I mentioned this during the pre-show. This is a big deal for Shayna. She was in the main event segment. She killed it for what they wanted her to do.
She did the best she could.
She did the best she could. She did better than a lot of people would do.
Yeah.
It's just unfortunately the creative is terrible. It's not utilizing her strengths. So, yeah. Anyways.
Jimmy Thomas, is this all a setup for Alexa to go after Nia, given they have history? Am I giving them too much credit?
I think this is, I don't know about, like, where do you think this is going to go with Alexa and Shayna? I mean, they're sort of, Alexa's totally the bad guy. Or I think if we had access to their who's the good guy, who's the bad guy thing here, like Alexa's totally the bad guy. I'm not sure. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure Shayna doesn't come out of this winning the feud.
Yeah, no. I don't know.
That'd be good for her.
I honestly thought that might be the part of the end game, at least for this part of it, was Shayna was a way for Alexa to get to Nia, but I mean, that seemed like a pretty oblique way to tell this story when Alexa could just go after Nia, unless the idea is that Alexa's going to turn Shayna so Shayna could have her proxy against Nia.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll be honest, man, if they have like a 3-month plan where there's like story beats along the way, I'll forgive this. If there's like, oh wow, along the way, oh, that was a clever twist, I'll forgive this stuff, if I see it. Cool. Anyways, you got one more question for us?
Let's see. Muted Mayday says Kofi doesn't join MVP but gets attacked by Big E, who teams up with MVP instead.
Oh, be still my heart. Don't. That's too cool. That's too cool of a. That's a cool idea. Oh, I'd love it. Have them all fight each other at this point. And then 3 years from now, you bring them back together. It's be the biggest thing. Come on. It was great in the Shield. Anyways, DKC returns, says, did Steve see Andrade suit from Friday?
Oh,
yeah, man, I watched Dynamite. We recapped it yesterday. It was great.
Amazing suit.
Anyways, that's going to do it for us. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in with us on a Tuesday. We appreciate it. We'll be back tomorrow at noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, for our NXT review. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in. Until next time, we'll talk to you later.
Goodbye.
Help support Going In Raw today by becoming a Friendo Club TV member. You'll get access to new bonus episodes every week, including Friendo Club Arcade, Live Power Rank, Vintage 10 for the Wins, and Ask Steven Larson. Get access to Friendo Club TV today by becoming a $5 and up patron at patreon.com/Steven Larson, by throwing us a sub at twitch.tv/Steven Larson, or by clicking join at youtube.com/Steven Larson.